Well, I was born at a party in a barn with a guitar strapped across my arm. So I learned to play in a different style. Everybody knows that I'm hog wild. Well, I pick it high and I pick it low. Pick it with my teeth and pick it with my...
Good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Hogs Happy Hour here on 4-Star Sports Media Network. I'm your host Blake, joined by Coach Wilson, and Jason is out there in the atmosphere somewhere. So. All right, fellas. It's pretty much the end of the sports season. We still got track and field, but for the major sports, it was a pretty disappointing year. So, we'll start with baseball. Ashton, we did not get your thoughts. You probably didn't want to say your thoughts after the past two games. So, what do you think about Arkansas losing second straight year in their home regional?
I think I've said it before. My assumption is moving forward, I wouldn't be shocked if Arkansas parts ways with Nate Thompson. I also wouldn't be shocked if Arkansas keeps Nate Thompson. Yeah. Something's got to be changed. Either the way they recruit or their offensive approach, something's got to change because the last 7 years have been really bad offensively. And I think you and I mentioned it was the last time Vitello was the third base coach at Arkansas, was the last time we were good overall as a team offensively. And now, as you can see, obviously Tennessee is rolling offensively, have been for several years now. And I also was in my opinion, I was wondering if maybe it was time for Van Horn to hang it up. And a lot of people disagree with that. They say, a lot of people say I'm crazy that you'd even bring that up. But obviously the man can recruit. I think he develops fairly, pretty well. Obviously, he's got a lot of players in the pros, but right now he's just, he's had a lot of success, Blake. He's had a lot of success, but part of me wonders if a lot of Razorback fans aren't going to remember him as the coach who just couldn't finish the job. Yeah. He'll go down as one of the greatest coaches ever in college baseball history, whether he retires now, 10 years from now, whatever it may be. But moving forward, we've got to have a different approach offensively, and we've got to have more than one dude on the team that can go out there and win games.
Yeah, when Smith gave up that home run to Culpepper, Culpepper's a phenomenal player, by the way, but when he gave it up, you were up by two, and at the beginning of that inning, and then it just kind of broke loose from there. And once he hit that home run, you were just like, "There's no way we're coming back from this," and there wasn't. We tried in the 8th and 9th inning to claw back, make it interesting, but it just didn't happen. We need, which Coach said in his press conference, outside of Hagen Smith, pitching has been mediocre the past, he said, 5 or 6 weeks. So,
I think
he knew it.
A problem is I look around the SEC as a whole, and I look at lineups, and it seems like every team we play, every lineup has one dude who has at least 20 home runs, if not multiple guys. Like, I feel like we are lacking that one guy that can just absolutely and hit for average too. I'm talking about a guy who can hit 350, but also have 20 home runs. We had Wahiva Aloy, but Wahiva Aloy was, 14 home runs, and 99.9% of the time he was either going to hit a home run or swing and miss. And he's a good ball player. He's a heck of a ball player, good shortstop, but you need a guy who can hit for average and hit the ball out of the ballpark. And we just haven't had that consistent.
Yeah, so there's after the game, it was mentioned, you talked about the 7 years. It's talked about the past 7 postseason. The batting average was a .176. That is incorrect, okay? But it's actually a .278 over that span.
Okay. So, that's okay. I mean, 0.278 is okay, but still, I don't care about the 0.278. What I care about is just like we haven't been clutch.
Yeah.
Just haven't been very clutch, and we shouldn't be losing to teams like SEMO.
Yeah, I mean, you beat them 17-9 that first game.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be getting shut down. It's not like SEMO ran a guy out there throwing 95, 96.
Yeah.
Threw a kid out
Yeah.
there like 88 to 90.
Just very, very consistent is what they were.
Yeah.
You know,
So
before the regional started, the media was like, "Oh, it's the easiest one." Well, the 3 seed ended up winning. I mean, it's kind of how where baseball's at right now.
on paper, it should have been the easiest regional for the 1 seed
Yeah.
for a host to win, and of course, in Razorback fashion, we couldn't get it done.
So, question: is it players or is it coaches?
I think it's both.
Because we're part of the former junior high coaches association, and we can draw up plays, but it's not the X's and O's; it's the Jimmys and Joes. So I mean, I think it falls on Van Horn a little bit with his lineup choices. Putting Diggs at the top. Hitting what 3, 4, sometimes lead off, and then just making Jack Wagner the DH. I mean, just little things like that. I blame him, but at the end of the day, the players got to pitch, players got to hit the ball, in order for us to win.
Yeah, there were just a couple. There were a couple things that throughout the year just didn't add up. Like coming in, how Jack Wagner can go from being one of the hottest bats in the portal to not being able to touch the baseball. How Ty Wilmsmeyer couldn't hit his way out of a wet paper sack. He's a heck of a defensive outfielder. Ross Lovich just went downhill. The only one, trying to think, really the only one who kind of came on and was super consistent at the very end was Hudson White.
Oh
yeah. But how much of that comes down to the hitting coach, not just not the player, but the hitting coach.
Yeah, I don't really know. Like, I want to say that I don't want to say it's all coaching and no players, or it's all players, no coaching. That definitely coaching plays a difference into the overall play. I don't know. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. I just didn't see a whole lot of. I didn't see a whole lot of like change of approach when a guy is throwing a lot of off speed, or a guy is throwing this, or this. I saw just the kids going up there having no idea what they wanted to do with it, swinging out of their shoes. I saw Aloy in the last game, I think, he swung at a ball that was 3 feet over his head.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, what's the approach? Like, what are we wanting to do as a hitter in this situation? And it felt like it was I think it was like 3 or 4 pitches, and Aloy's back to the dugout. And that's that's the guy leading your team in home runs.
Yeah. It was a very, very disappointing weekend, but also, of hitting, I mean, they, throughout the season, we would just look at strike 3, wouldn't even try to swing at it. I mean, just attempt, and we would get into these full counts all the time. We might get ahead 2-0, and then it ends up being a full count, and we just watch strike 3 go past us. So,
but as of right now, no one's in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I think we've got 3 or 4 JUCO kids committed. Those are really the only. Well, and then all the high school commitments coming in. But then now, obviously, I think Van Horn's got to go get. I mean, he's got to go get someone who can just absolutely mash, but also get on base. Because that was the biggest problem for us. We get on base, but we could not drive in runs.
Yeah.
It's just somebody who can hit the ball in the gap, and then.
Oh man, but how many pop-ups did we hit?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like the approach. If we're swinging out of our shoes, and they throw something that we're not looking for, we get out. We get underneath the ball, pop it up, and we can't score runs.
Yeah.
So,
our group chat was just, it was a joke. About you know, we get 2 on base, 2 outs, and sure enough, here comes a pop up out.
Yeah, we always say, "Oh, we're heating up. We're warming up the oven," and then nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was disappointing. It was disappointing for sure, fellas.
Well, I am actually kind of glad it's over with, though. It's over with. They didn't get our hopes up in winning.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping that they could shake off the showing from the SEC tournament and bounce back and win the regional and maybe carry that momentum into the super regional. But it just seems to me that the same exact mojo that came from the SEC tournament just carried right on over into the regional, just like we all thought it would. And I guess really the only difference is we had the sticks come to life in the first game, and then after that it's like if you're having to fight out of the hole in the 8th and 9th inning every single game, things just normally don't work out well for you.
Yeah, I just don't understand why playing at home in the regional was not good for us. Because the last time we made it to Omaha, we had to go to Stillwater and then to North Carolina in order to get there. But,
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, here's you talked about Aloy, but his brother's in the transfer portal now.
Where was his brother at? Hawaii?
I believe so. I don't really know off the top of my head. I just know he was entered the portal.
If I was a guessing person, I would say Hawaii.
I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah.
But oh well, baseball's over and time to move on to football season and kind of see what's next as far as like recruiting wise. Like how is Coach Cal going to finish up his roster? Is he done with his roster? What do y'all think? Is he done with his roster?
I don't think so now that UConn's coach is possibly interviewing for the Lakers job.
So I would stay at UConn if I was him. You don't want to mess up Happy. We've seen all the coaches that go coach for LeBron. They pretty much end up getting fired. So I know he wants another challenge because it's kind of easy to him right now, but I just don't get him wanting to go to the Lakers at all.
I'll tell you right now, though, money talks, Blake.
Well, yeah, it does.
Money talks, and he sees he gets to coach LeBron James, so he's probably just ecstatic about that.
Yeah, but Brazil did end up returning, like we talked about, I think 2 weeks or last week. We saw he was taking summer classes, so he has returned. DJ Wagner officially has transferred, so he's got a few more scholarships. I think 3, maybe 4 more scholarships he can use. Depends on UConn. I'm sure every team's going to raid UConn's roster if everything happens like people think it's going to happen. I can't think of his name, but there is one player that was offered by Arkansas that committed to UConn, so maybe there's a connection there that we can try and get him. But yeah, it's going to send shockwaves throughout the whole nation regarding Hurley going to the Lakers.
Yeah, but it would do us some good. We could definitely use another big man or two. I still think we need another big man. And I'm kind of curious, where is Wooga Poplar in his recruiting right now? As far from the guard from Miami.
I saw his name on Twitter today, but I can't quite remember. Let me click Clacky real quick.
I haven't heard. I know that his name was one that was really important for the Razorbacks several months ago or a month ago.
Yeah.
And I hadn't seen him commit anywhere. And then the other one was Cameron Hawkins from Illinois. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard his name in a while either.
Okay, it said he committed to Villanova, June 5th.
Okay, Wooga Poplar. So that was yesterday. And when Cameron Hawkins hasn't committed to anybody yet, I don't think.
I think. But I don't know. You know, he might just not use those scholarships. He might use them. We don't really know. I know he's got some visits coming. I think this weekend or in a couple weeks of some class of 25 kids. So he's already kind of starting on that class next.
Right.
So
Right.
that's big time talent. And there's also some big time talent in Arkansas. Hopefully he can keep them here. I know at your school. Was it Burgess? Terry
Yeah,
Burgess?
Terry on here at Benton. I'd like to keep him in Arkansas for sure.
Yeah. So it's just not real sure. But we do know another game that we're going to play. It's it's an interesting opponent too. Arkansas will host Oakland on December 30th.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was heard that on the radio. I guess it was yesterday, and they were talking about like how odd it is that Arkansas would have Oakland on their schedule, and it seems does it not seem like every year, no matter who the coach is, a team that you lose to in the playoffs of some whatever sport it may be, like it could be football, basketball, baseball, whatever sport you lose in the playoffs to, you play them on the schedule the very next season.
Yeah. I think it's just a respect factor, especially if it's like a mid-major type school, you know.
Yeah.
Just and you kind of probably want some revenge, but I know what's Coach Camp, I think his name at Oakland. He's him and Coach Cal are very respectful of each other, so it's not a Coach Cal's not trying to get back at him
Right.
at all. He just so we know of two non-conference games so far. We're going to play Michigan at Madison Square Garden and Oakland, and I'm sure there's a few more out there that we've missed, but trying to build it up. I wish we could play USC.
I guess we got Michigan at Madison Square Garden.
Yep.
Um,
yeah.
I'm kind of curious if we'll go overseas and play anywhere. I think you can only go to Hawaii like once every 4 years or something, something like that. So it's gonna be interesting. You know, we got a good roster as it is, but I think we got 9 guys. I just feel better with 10. I don't know why I feel better with 10. Because I mean, imagine you're 2 injuries away, and all of a sudden you're down to 7 guys.
Yeah, if he has any scholarships left over, now you can call me crazy, but I would love to see him offer one to Lawson Blake, who stayed. You know, I mean, if you're not going to use it, just give it to him because he did stick around, and you know it's good to see them walk-ons actually earn a scholarship. You know, because we know he's probably not getting any NIL money. So
Right.
That would be good to see. Now, there's a lot of people on TikTok, Twitter who are Kentucky fans. They're like, "Oh, this roster was terrible. If he had this at Kentucky, he would be fired." And then I look at Kentucky's roster. I'm like, if Coach Cal had that roster, he would be fired. You know, because the roster they got's not. I mean, it's got talent, but it's not the 4 and 5 star talent that you think you should get at Kentucky year in and year out. So, all right, I want to move on to football real quick. So, season starts up here soon. Again, game 1's in Little Rock against UAPB. Wes Pruitt on the sports buffet had a interesting topic or question is Sam Pittman on the hottest seat in the nation?
In the nation?
Because of who is behind him and the former head coach Bobby Petrino.
Dang, man, that's a good question. In the nation, though.
I mean, you can even just say the SEC if you wanted to.
In the SEC, absolutely.
Yeah.
He's on the hottest seat in the SEC without a doubt. I think that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I'm looking across the conference, thinking across the conference, who in the world could be on a hotter seat than him? Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, it almost has the, again, we're going all the way back to when this all happened. It's always had the feel that they brought in Bobby to be the replacement for Coach Pitt. Does it not have that feel? It's always had that feel.
It
To
does,
me,
but
it does.
do you think he still wants to be a head coach nowadays, or is he just content with just being an offensive coordinator?
Yeah, I think
I think
he's
he's almost
still.
content with being an OC.
Yeah, he's
There's a lot of
63.
yeah.
He's old. I mean, this day and age, I don't think he wants to be a head coach with NIL transfer portal.
No, I
All
mean
that.
this Bobby Petrino is completely different than the one that was here before.
Yeah, the Bobby Petrino before was spotlight, like to be the head honcho. I don't see that same Bobby. I see this. I mean, I believe the same Bobby's there that wants to win, that wants to be successful on offense, and I think he has a little bit of renewed enthusiasm coming. I think he's wanted to come back to Arkansas for a long time. I don't obviously he never wanted to leave, but circumstances were what they were. A lot of life lessons. We all learn life lessons, but a lot of life lessons learned. And he's worked his way, and obviously he's where he's at now with us. And so I think again, his goal is to have a better go around with the Razorbacks than he had before. So again, I think it's fair to say expect Arkansas to have a good showing on offense this year. Does that mean we win? Not necessarily, but Arkansas, I think, has a better showing on offense. Let's be real, guys. Could we have a worse showing on offense this year than we did last year?
No.
I don't think we scored a rushing touchdown for like 4 weeks. Okay?
I'm expecting our offense to do better, and our defense, I think, will probably remain about the same.
Yeah, I think our defense lost a lot with the linebackers. Pretty much all the linebackers left. But I think we're going to be able to put up some points. I think we're going to have to outscore people. We're going to have the ball last. We're not going to stop anybody. But that's kind of how college football is right now.
I think Taylor Green's going to be big for the Razorbacks.
Taylor Green's going to surprise a lot of people. I think going back to the question of is it the hottest seat? Yes, I think it is. But I think if he just gets 6 wins, he's fine. If he just gets to a bowl game,
I'll tell you where we're really going to be hurting at is field goal kicking.
We did not look good kicking the field goals.
We just got a transfer.
Well,
Yeah.
our kicker last year was our highest scoring player.
Yeah, and he's also, he's on the Jaguars too. He got drafted.
Yeah, of course, he got drafted by the Jaguars. Shout out to the Jags.
Shout out, yeah. I'm the only Jaguar fan in Southeast Arkansas. So.
Yeah, that's about right. About right.
But so yeah. So about July we'll have our SEC preview show. Okay, we'll try to bring Dave on. We'll try to bring Jason Pattison from Hogville on. Just kind of go through the conference. Texas and Oklahoma will be coming into the conference. If you've been watching softball, the 2 teams that are in the final are coming to the SEC. So SEC softball is about to get super intense, competition wise.
Yeah,
because you got Florida. Florida was good. Arkansas was good. We just we didn't do good at the regional.
Yeah, shocker. But no. I mean, no. I don't know if you could say there was a tougher conference as far as softball goes around than what's going to be the SEC next year.
Yeah.
Gosh, it's going to be insane. And I hope Oklahoma like going undefeated all those years because that's just not going to happen anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Now they're still going to be pretty good, but they're not just going to go through the conference.
Right.
And then NBA Finals start tonight. We got a few Hogs on each team. We got Daniel Gafford. He's on the Mavericks.
He's on the Mavs.
Getting traded to the Mavericks was a career-defining move for him.
And he's had a good season with them.
Yep. And then the rookie Jordan Walsh is on the Celtics. So, he gets no playing time, but he is on the team, and he might get in if there's foul trouble or something. But he has contributed.
Yeah, so he's played a few minutes this year.
Yeah. Gafford, I heard his interview. They were asking where he's from. He goes, "It's a little town called El Dorado."
Not
Yeah.
El Dorado.
Yeah,
Like,
not El Dorado, but El Dorado.
Well, to
Yeah.
those people in Southeast Arkansas, that's not a little town.
Right, that's right. It's a big town in Southeast
It's
Arkansas.
a big town. And then Charles Barkley was like, "Yeah, I got a friend that lives in Camden," and so it was cool to see, him. It's cool to. I mean, he's always been he's a great player for Arkansas. He just had to find his team. So crash. But yeah, that's about it. Not much going on. Only sport left is track and field. I think they're in their national championship this weekend or next weekend. I'm not real sure, but
Super Regional start tomorrow morning.
Super regionals.
Just to watching for fun at this point.
Yeah. Coach Vitello said the atmosphere is going to be like a Saturday in the fall, meaning it's going to be like a football atmosphere.
It's gonna be fun, man. It's gonna be fun.
Watching Tennessee games. The fan. Now, this is no offense to our fans, but you watch our baseball. I mean, it's packed, but there's not much going on. You watch Tennessee; they're actually into it. Because at Arkansas, we used to do the ball five, kind of what Texas A&M started, but we kind of stole it. I see a bunch of people sitting down.
Well, if our head coach job ever comes open, do you think he would come here?
He's already getting paid more at Tennessee.
I mean, doesn't mean that they wouldn't up his offer here if he was looking for a head coach.
Yeah, I don't.
The money's there, Blake. The money's there. I don't know if he'd come here or not.
I mean, he doesn't really have any ties here. I mean, he's coached here, but that's about it.
Well, yeah, but let's say Van Horn never wins a championship here. Do you think that he may have motivation to try to win a championship here since Van Horn couldn't?
Just kind of prove a point.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it. It's just, which Hunter Yurchek has done surprising things before. I want y'all to think about this. We have arguably the best baseball coach in the nation and the best basketball coach in the nation.
And one of the worst football coaches.
And then we got
a nice guy running our football program.
Speaking of football, I was going to bring this up. The NCAA announced today that they're you can place corporate logos in the middle of the football field.
I hate that.
So expect to see Tyson and Walmart smack down in the middle of the football field here soon.
You're gonna have a catfish barn on the. What's the name of that catfish hole?
Catfish
hole. Yeah, the best hush puppies around.
Best hush puppies around.
I don't know. I gotta give it to Cowboys and Monticello when they were open.
Oh yeah, Cowboys. Yeah, they were good. They were so good that they sold them. They sold them in Walmart. They packaged them up, sold them in Walmart.
Well, I really ain't much else to say.
Nope.
As far as sports go right now, it's kind of quiet, dead time.
Yeah,
it's time to enjoy our summer before we get heartbroken during football season.
Yeah, week 1,
bound
week
to
2
happen.
should be easy. Week 3 is when it starts going downhill.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, realistically, what do you think? Like, how many wins do you think we'll get this year?
I think Bet Saracen put it at 4.5. So, or it's either 4.5 or 5.5. I'm not,
I'm gonna say 5.
I think the ceiling is 7. I think that's the most you're going to get is 7.
Unless you're going off of Hogs 247 and the GPT prediction, we are currently sitting at 8-2.
Yeah, don't see that at all.
Yeah, I listened to Trey Biddy yesterday. He was like, "Yeah, I've just been running some simulations through chat GPT," and he's like, "Yeah, we're going to beat Texas. We're going to beat this team. He said Taylor Green's going to win the Heisman. So, I don't know.
What is going? Trey needs to throw that machine away whenever he's got it.
Yeah, but I think the ceiling's 7. The floor is probably 4, between 4 and 7.
I think the floor is 3, brother.
Yeah.
I think 5 Pittman's gone. If he wins 6, he'll be here another year.
Okay. Well, if you see the season's going wrong, do you fire him like week 8, week 9?
I don't know. I think at that point you might as well just ride it out.
Fire him.
I'm gonna throw a theory out there. Since Hunter Yurchek has a relationship with this coach, Deion Sanders' sons will not be at Colorado next year. So therefore, Deion will not be at Colorado next year.
Mm-hmm.
You think Yurchek tries
No.
a second time? I don't
No.
know. But,
I mean, the news that's been surrounding his kids and stuff, I just don't want Deion as a head coach.
no.
Yeah.
He might be your Dallas Cowboys head coach.
Yeah, could be. Doubt
Watch
it, but
out.
could be.
Yep. But,
Well, boys,
think-
I have got to get to baseball practice, gentlemen.
oh yeah, travel.
I know the
ball
rate. I know
coach,
the.
right?
Yeah, that's right. Travel ball, glorified travel ball.
Yeah. But,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we will see y'all probably after SEC Media Days. Once all the projections come out, we'll talk about them. Arkansas will be last. Well, we might beat Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt will probably be last.
So we'll be 15th out of 16. So pretty good. But anyways, thanks for watching. Subscribe and follow us on all the social media platforms if you can. So until any news happens, we'll see y'all later.
Until next.